Welcome back to Intentional Oversharing with me, your host, Neely Kimmy, as always. Thank you for being here, first and foremost. It's been a while. I haven't posted a podcast episode in over a month now. I was posting them on a somewhat weekly basis, sort of. And it's been a very busy last couple of months. So I wanted to check back in with y'all, give you maybe like an update on my life, let you know what's been going on. A lot has been happening. I've been processing a lot of different things, some changes, lots to catch you guys up on. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and mention that at the moment I am the social media intern for Stimara. I'm playing with my stim mags right now as we speak. I have the gemstone collection today. So I've been their social media intern for about a little bit over a month now. That's part of why I haven't been as active online on social media. I haven't been as on top of my podcast episodes lately because basically all of the extra time or like flexible time that I had previously was taken over by this internship that I started with Stimara, which was cool. Ultimately, I was excited about being busier and also just having like an excuse to focus more on work related things and not be so wrapped up in social media myself. So it's been nice to have something to keep me busier. I think that my brain tends to function a little bit better when I'm busier. That being said, my last day with Stimara is going to be June 12th. Today I'm recording this on June 1st. Happy Pride Month. It's also my birthday month. So when I first went through the interview process with Stimara, I was doing that with Haley Honeyman. You might be familiar. You might have also found me through her. I was trying to just like get my foot in the door with the company, essentially. My hope was for that role to eventually evolve into me doing more with like community engagement and maybe be more involved in the Discord server and ideally utilize my coaching skills with them in some way. Haley was on board with that plan. When Haley ultimately left Stimara, it became clear to me that some of my kind of like plans and hopes for this role evolving were probably going to be no longer on the table, or at least like priorities would be shifted a bit. And I just realized that I needed to be forthcoming with them and let them know that I'm not passionate about social media, to say the least. I'm not like passionate about marketing. And this internship role was really to get my foot in the door with the company. And so I explained that to the CEO and to some of the other people with the company. And we just decided that it was best for them to try to find someone for their social media internship role that was actually like really excited about that specifically, that specific aspect of it. And so it was amicable. We agreed that I would be kind of helping through this transition period and stepping away on June 12th. So I'm not sure when I'm planning on posting this video, but yeah, that's going to be in a couple of weeks from now. So there's no hard feelings. I'm going to stay on with them as a brand ambassador for sure. And which, by the way, if you want to check out their products, you can use my promo code WeirdWiredCoach at any time on Stimara.com. I'll put the link in the description. I love their products. They're great. So yeah, this ultimately is all kind of working out. It's unexpected, but it's working out well. And I am going to wait to share what's coming. But I'll just say that I'm staying in touch with Haley, and there should be some exciting things coming up soon. I'm just gonna maybe leave it at that. Okay? Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted as that evolves. But ultimately, this was all a good thing. Like, all of this is fine. I'm just going back to my coaching business and focusing on that. So you're going to be seeing more content from me. I've been really interested in maybe doing, I've mentioned like vlogging or doing more like longer form content or exploring that. So we'll see. We'll see what I'm able to, we'll see what happens. But let's just say I'm excited. I'm feeling good about this transition. And I'm also just excited to something that I noticed as I have been working for someone else again for the first time in a couple of years, and basically kind of acting as like representing a company other than my own. I've noticed in myself that not only have I not had as much time to stay as like politically informed, for better or worse, but also I haven't had as much time to be, I guess, like be myself online. I try really hard to emphasize authenticity, and I noticed I've been like shrinking myself a little bit. Not because I was told to by anyone. No one asked me to change how I was showing up online. I want to be clear about that. Nobody was criticizing anything that I was saying online, at least not to me. But it was just, I naturally felt myself kind of holding back from certain things. Like, I'm pretty unhinged on LinkedIn compared to a lot of people on there. I try to talk about like social justice issues and things outside of just neurodivergence, because being queer is a huge part of my identity. And I'm exploring my gender expression, still trying to figure out what all that means for me. But, I talk about women's rights. I talk about trans rights, our right to abortion, and how abortion is healthcare and that kind of stuff. And so I just didn't want to, I've been holding back from being as vocal about that kind of stuff because I just didn't want to like alienate anyone while I'm kind of representing a company other than my own. So obviously my views about all of that stuff hasn't changed, but one kind of like unexpected or maybe unintended benefit to me stepping away will be just I can be my normal unhinged self again, without feeling pressured to kind of be quieter about some of those things. So yeah, I'm feeling good about it. It's feeling good. So more to come about what I'm getting into, but some other things have been going on. So a couple of weeks ago, I actually recorded a pretty short podcast episode that I was planning on posting, and I ended up deciding not to, just because it felt like the subject matter I was still like processing it, and I didn't want to put anything kind of incomplete out there, like my incomplete thoughts, I guess. But let's just say I'm going through a bit of a transition period as well when it comes to my relationship with my mom. Honestly, I don't really feel like getting into it, and no one's asking me to do that. So I'm not going to push myself to do that for this episode. But it's something that's just been like really, really weighing on me. And I've been doing a lot of protecting my peace let's say, when it comes to interacting with her. I've talked a little bit about this on LinkedIn, and I'm sure I'll share more as I figure out more. And I've been processing a lot about like my childhood and certain things like that. I need to be examining my relationship with my mom a lot right now. So just want to throw that out there. I don't want to pretend like that's not going on, because it definitely is. But yeah, I just don't want to like get wrapped up in this episode talking about like certain labels or terminology when it comes to my mom, and then be worried that she's going to see it, or like, I don't know, you guys. This shit's hard. It's hard to navigate. But yeah, trying to figure that out. Another thing that I've been trying to figure out over the last couple of weeks is I am pretty sure that I have Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, or otherwise known as hypermobility, which is something that I pretty much kind of like try to talk myself out of thinking that I had for a few years. Like, I've suspected it for a while, but there are certain aspects of this diagnosis that I have tried to tell myself, like, oh no, that's not, like, you don't fit the criteria perfectly. Or, you know, I've been told that the pain I experience is just growing pains. I've been told that throughout my life, and basically gaslit by doctors, just saying I'm like being dramatic, or that it's nothing, even though I'm 34 now, about to be 35, and I still am having these pains that can be debilitating at times. And yeah, just also like injuries that I've kind of downplayed in my own mind throughout my life, even if I needed to call out of work due to those injuries. So I'm exploring Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome. Reddit has been a huge help. Their Reddit community has been really... Hi, Stevie. Hi. Can you sit down? Can you lay down? Thank you. Thanks so much. Reddit has been really helpful in making connections. And also, I'm not going to even fucking lie. It was really ChatGPT that helped me reach this conclusion. Like I said, I've been suspecting that I could have Ehlers-Danlos for the last few years. And every time I've heard somebody talk about it, I'm like, oh, wow, I can relate to that. But a couple weeks ago, I was in a lot of pain, and I decided, well, I'm just going to type in my pain, like my experience of this pain, into ChatGPT and see if it can give me some guidance, right? So I put everything in. I basically told it that I've had this pain that was dismissed as growing pains throughout my life. Sometimes it's debilitating. Other times it's just kind of dull or annoying. I said that it fluctuates with changes in the weather and barometric pressure. I can't remember what else I put in there, but it said, based on what I described, that EDS fits the closest. And it gave me several other diagnoses that could be worth exploring otherwise. But the EDS really was at the top, and it makes the most sense, and I already suspected it, and blah, blah, blah. So here we are. Now the fun part is going to be trying to actually get a diagnosis, like an actual one, from a human doctor. And I've been talking about this more on social media, like LinkedIn and on TikTok. And everybody that has been interacting with me about it basically says that, either it took them forever to get diagnosed, or they're still fighting to try to get a diagnosis, So that's going to be fun. And I'm basically trying to, so this upcoming week, today's Sunday, and throughout this week, I have several in-person appointments, like medical appointments that are very rare for me. Like most of my appointments, if I ever have them, they're like virtual, or I just like see my primary care doctor like once a year. But this time, so I'm having my annual checkup this week. I'm seeing my psychiatric nurse practitioner, my prescriber. I'm seeing her in person. I haven't seen her in person in a while. And then on Thursday, I'm getting a colonoscopy done. I had been essentially putting off getting a colonoscopy because, like I said, I'm 34. I'm freaked out. I'm like nervous about what they might find when they do the procedure. I'm not too worried about the procedure itself. Like, I know I'm going to be under anesthesia. People have already told me that the like drink that you have to drink beforehand tastes like shit. So I'm already like prepared for that to be awful. But I'm worried about what they're going to find. And I'm worried about the ultimate cost because I've had to go back and forth with insurance and with the doctor's offices and shit just about what's the coverage. Like, can it be cheaper? Like, are there codes that can make it cheaper? Because usually you don't get a colonoscopy until you're 45 or something like that. And the reason why I'm trying to get one earlier is not only because I have like symptoms that are concerning, like digestion related symptoms that are concerning, but also my father passed away from cancer in 2017. One of the cancers that he passed away from was colon cancer. So that automatically puts me in the category of high risk. So much fun to be in that category. And so whenever I first went to see a gastroenterologist, I was trying to explain why I was interested in or wanted to I guess rule out that I have like cancer or anything. I was just like, you know, I've had like some symptoms that aren't great, some digestion symptoms, and like the only thing that seems to have helped in the past was eating an all vegan diet. And initially the doctor was just like, well, then why don't you just do that again? And it was very like, again, dismissive and like, why don't you just be vegan again? Like, okay, trust me, I would love to be vegan again. I live in a town, like I say that I live in Austin. I don't live in Austin. I live outside of Austin. And there's like hardly any vegan food out here. Like I was vegan whenever I lived in Austin. Austin has a ton of vegan food. Like any kind of food I could possibly want, I can find a vegan option for it in Austin. But I don't live in the city of Austin anymore. So it's just not as accessible at all to get vegan food or to access it or anything. And I've been struggling with just like feeding myself at all. So of course, if the only food I can find and conceivably like access and actually make or be able to eat is not vegan, I need to be eating something. I can't just not eat, right? So anyway, him being like, well, why don't you just be vegan again? Like, not helpful at all. Can I just say? Yes, I would love to be vegan again, and we'll see if I can get there. Maybe at some point I can get there again. I try to eat that way as much as I can. Anyway, so I was talking to him about it, and he was being dismissive and kind of seemed annoyed by my existence. And then he was like, is there a family history of colon cancer? And I was like, yeah, my dad passed away, and one of the cancers that he had was colon cancer. And all of a sudden the doctor's like, oh shit. Like I could tell his face changed. Like, oh, this actually could be a thing. You actually maybe aren't making shit up. Cool. So then it was like that started the whole process of like fighting with insurance and trying to like figure out what's covered and what's not. It's a nightmare. Can I just say, I just want to vent about that really quick, but whatever, it's happening in a few days, I'm getting a fucking colonoscopy at 34 years old, and I don't want to do it. And I'm going to, and I'm scared. So that's cool. But what I'm hoping for is once I figure out what's going on with that, if I maybe am having trouble with, whatever I figure out from the fucking colonoscopy, then after that, I'm going to try to go down the road of figuring out if I can get an EDS diagnosis and maybe what else might be going on with my body. Because I deserve answers, and so do you. And I already know that EDS is extremely common for folks that are autistic. So this just it's confirming things that I feel like I already knew, right? So yeah, if you have been telling yourself, hey, Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome or hypermobility, like sort of sounds right, but, trying to talk yourself out of it, I don't know, maybe do some more research. Maybe ask ChatGPT just to get some information about it and explore it more, because it explains so much in my life, like so many things in my life. So that's going to be next on the list to try to figure out. I think that's all I really have to update you guys about. It's been a very busy last couple of months, and I don't see that necessarily slowing down. I'm going to be more intentional about like promoting myself and putting all of my like efforts and energy into expanding my coaching offerings and expanding my coaching business. Overall, things are okay. It's still very scary living in Texas. I would like to potentially relocate somewhere else because that scariness isn't going away. It's just getting worse right now, but we'll just see. We'll see what happens. I'm trying to stay cautiously optimistic about the future of things. So yeah, that's just a quick little update about my life. I'm going to try to be posting more podcast episodes and maybe doing more interviews, like as a guest on other people's podcasts. Hit me up if you would like to have me as a guest. I love talking about neurodivergence, being a business owner, fucking whatever, burnout, unmasking, whatever. But I just wanted to check in with y'all. I hope that you're all taking care of yourselves. I appreciate you being here. As always, I appreciate you listening and or watching. I love you. And I'm thinking of you. And yeah, thanks for listening. Bye, guys.